morning, everyone. My name is Susan Moriarty, and I'm the Executive Director of the Tennessee YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. It is my privilege to welcome you to the 40th Annual Model United Nations. We know this isn't the conference you expected. It's not the conference we expected either. But we're so grateful that you've chosen to be here, and we look forward to a fantastic weekend working with all of you all. Between our 2 high school conferences and our 3 middle school conferences, the CCE will serve more than 1,400 middle and high school students from across the state, and even some students from out of state and from across the world. I want to take a moment to thank all of those people whose dedication and hard work have made this conference possible. First, to our teachers who have been juggling assignments and communicating with students during unprecedented uncertainty. Thank you. To our volunteers who have still managed to take time out of their busy lives to assist us in moving this conference into the digital world. Thank you. And most of all, to our delegates who have not let the chaos of the last 8 months interfere with their passion for civic engagement and making the world a better place. We can't imagine what this world would have been like without your support, your enthusiasm, and your participation. Trust me, it makes a difference. So enjoy this weekend, show off all your hard work, and make some new friends.
Hi, my name is ELISE Duggar, and I'm the Associate Director of the YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. The conference app is essential to your experience at Model UN. You must log in to access the Zoom links for the weekend. Last week, you should have received an email entitled MUN App 2020. If you didn't receive this email that has instructions for logging in, please let Susan, Tyler, or me know, and we'll resend it to you. You can also find instructions on our website at tennesseecce.org. The app can be accessed from your web browser or from your mobile device. Logging in allows you to join the Zoom meetings for the weekend, as well as access tons of helpful features like a personalized schedule, delegate communications, committee dockets, informational pages, conference updates, and election information. If you aren't logged in yet, pause this opening and make sure you're all set up. Before the conference begins, here are a couple of Zoom etiquette reminders. Make sure you're in business attire, just like at an in-person Model UN. If you intend to leave the room, please turn off your video. Keep yourself on mute whenever you aren't speaking. The chat should be related to conference material during sessions. And last but not least, make sure all that you do and all that you say is in keeping with the YMCA core values of honesty, caring, respect, and responsibility. We do have a limited amount of conference merchandise available for purchase. If you want to, you can order shirts, sweatshirts, books, or stickers through our online store. You can find the link to that in the conference app or just head to our website at tennesseecce.org. We'll make sure to ship them out to you as soon as the conference is over.
My name is Tyler DORR, and I'm the Program Director for the YMCA Center for Civic Engagement. The last few months have been challenging, socially. I know that I miss seeing everyone gathered together in one place for the conference. But Model UN is not a place. It's an idea. That when we come together, communicate, and collaborate with one another, we can build something far greater than what any of us could achieve alone. In that spirit, we know that this conference format offers some unique challenges around communication. And that's why we're asking you to use your platform, not just to make sure that your voice and your opinions are heard, but to amplify the voices and opinions of your peers. Throughout the weekend, look for opportunities to lift up, encourage, and amplify, and minimize distractions and drowning out. Model UN works best when we can all hear each other. We're also offering lots of chances to interact with delegates in a more casual social setting. Although these evening sessions are optional, I encourage each and every one of you to put yourself out there and meet some new people. Tonight, we'll be hosting a game night and doing team trivia. So grab some friends or some new people from committee and come join the fun. Tomorrow night, we'll be hosting our classic tomfoolery committee. So submit your best resolutions and bring your A game. We're also going to be screening a monster movie from the 50s tomorrow, Teenagers from Outer Space. It is terrible, and it's going to be a lot of fun, so we hope to see you there. If you need anything this weekend, Susan, Elise, and I, your teachers, and our conference staff are here to help you. Most importantly, your 2020 officers are here to lead you. Please help me welcome the presiding officers of the 40th Annual Tennessee YMCA Model United Nations.
My name is Kurt SCHELZIG, and I'm your Secretary General.
My name is Philip Eigen, and I'm your Secretary Liaison.
My name is Tristan Brown, and I'm your Security Council President.
My name is Omer Farah, and I'm your Security Council Liaison.
My name is Fawaz Omer, and I'm your ICJ President.
My name is Harmon Colvette, and I'm your ICJ Vice President.
My name is Omer Khair, and I'm your ICJ Justice.
My name is Rihanna Ryan, and I'm your ICJ Justice.
My name is Arnav Reddy, and I'm your ICJ Justice.
My name is Will Severin, and I'm your ICJ Justice.
My name is Allison Marquez, and I am your ICJ Liaison.
My name is Ella WYKOFF, and I'm your ICJ Liaison.
My name is Garrison Brothers, and I am your General Assembly President.
My name is Solman Kim, and I'm your General Assembly President.
My name is Holden Corby, and I'm your General Assembly President.
My name is Jake Harris, and I'm your General Assembly Vice President.
My name is Kayla Huang, and I am your General Assembly Vice President.
My name is Comfort Markway, and I'm your General Assembly Vice President.
My name is Greta Lee, and I'm your General Assembly Vice President.
My name is Sonia Shrivastava, and I'm your General Assembly Liaison.
My name is Mary Sang, and I'm your Press Managing Editor.
My name is Whit Barrett, and I'm your Blog and Copy Editor.
My name is Cameron Mitchell, and I'm your Video Director.
Hello again, and welcome to Model United Nations 2020. The United Nations is an international organization founded in 1945 after the Second World War by 51 countries committed to maintaining international peace and security, developing friendly relations among nations, and promoting social progress, better living standards, and human rights. The United Nations can take action on a wide range of issues and provide a forum for its current 193 member states. The United Nations works on a broad range of fundamental issues from sustainable development, environment and refugees protections, disaster relief, counterterrorism, disarmament and nonproliferation, to promoting democracy, human rights, gender equality and the advancement of women, governance, economic and social development, and international health, clearing landmines, expanding food production, and more. The Secretariat is a group of departments that serve as the executive arm of the United Nations, headed by the Secretary General. It has an important role in setting the agenda for the United Nations and the implementation of its decisions. The duties carried out by the Secretariat range from the administering of peacekeeping operations to mediating international disputes, from surveying economic and social trends and problems to preparing studies on human rights and sustainable development. The Secretariat will be leading summits again this year on topics to be posted today. If you'd like to be recognized to comment on the issue, we invite you to attend a public forum portion of the summit. A select number of attendees will be invited to remain in the closed section where we'll be drafting legislation on these topics. While the world has seen a massive surge in issues in the recent months, I believe that we can actively fight against these issues and to improve ourselves as a collective. Thank you.
The General Assembly was established in 1945 under the Charter of the United Nations. The General Assembly, made of 193 member states, occupies a central position as the chief deliberative, policymaking, and representative organ of the United Nations.
This weekend, we'll be debating and ranking over 100 resolutions in First Committee and Second Committee before passing or failing resolutions in the General Assembly. Good luck.
For country teams in First Committee, you will be in Committee A through H, and you can find your committee using the conference roster or consulting the conference book.
The International Court of Justice is the principal judicial organ of the United Nations. The court's role is to settle legal disputes submitted to it by member states in accordance with international law and to give advisory opinions on legal questions referred to it by authorized United Nations organs and specialized agencies. Our court will be hearing dozens of cases from lawyer teams throughout this weekend before inviting our top teams to argue a final case.
Under the Charter, the Security Council has the primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. Out of the 15 members of the Security Council, there are 10 rotating members with 2-year terms and 5 permanent members. These permanent members, the United States, Russia, the United Kingdom, China, and France, have veto power. If your resolution is flagged by the Security Council, you will be notified and asked to come to our chamber, where we will clarify your positions before reviewing and voting on your resolution. If you are awaiting review in the Security Council, your resolution will be bumped down the docket until that review is complete. Please don't worry if your resolution is flagged, as you will most likely still be able to present after we finish our review. Good luck.
The Department of Public Information was established in 1946 to promote global awareness and understanding of the work of the United Nations. DPI undertakes this goal through radio, television, print, the internet, video, conferencing, and other media tools. Make sure you follow the DPI on Twitter and Instagram at TNCCE Press and the YMCA Center for Civic Engagement to stay up to date on all things MUN. Updates will be posted on the DPI section of the app.
So stick around. Up next, we'll be talking about how to navigate the virtual conference and hearing from our candidates running for office for Model UN 2021. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 40th Annual YMCA Model United Nations. We are so thrilled that each of you get to be a part of this conference, and we look forward to a weekend full of debate, collaboration, and hopefully new connections with students around the state. I'm going to take a couple of minutes really quick before the conference starts to introduce you to 2 of the digital tools that you will need to make this weekend a success. I'll start with the Model United Nations app. Many of you have used the app if you've been to our conference before in its mobile form on your cell phone. That mobile form is still available, but I will focus here on the web version of the app. To begin, everybody should have gotten an email a couple of weeks ago with the subject line MUN App 2020. This email gives you detailed instructions on how to download the mobile app on your phone and how to access it on the web browser. All of the Zoom links are going to be hosted on the Model United Nations app, meaning it is essential that you find this email and log in. It went to the email that you registered for the conference with, but if you don't have one, send an email to myself or Elise, and we will make sure that you get an invite so you can log in. About midway down the email, you'll see a button that says Log in on device. You can click this to open the app. It'll take you to the web version of the app if you choose to open it in browser, which looks just like this. A couple of helpful features that you'll notice about the app are up top. You'll see your name and notifications. Notifications will light up anytime that a notification gets pushed to the conference generally or to a group that you specifically are in. You can also edit your profile from this top menu if you want to add a profile picture or anything like that. On the side, you will see a button that allows you to donate to Plan Padrino, learn more information about Model UN, and then a series of icons in the event guide sidebar that are going to help you navigate the weekend. Let's start with the schedule. Here, you'll see a schedule of all the sessions that are taking place throughout the weekend, and the times will be listed in the time zone that your computer is currently in. You can see here that I am in Central Standard Time, so all of my times listed are correct for the time zone that my computer is in. By default, you will be able to see every session of the conference, but the schedule is fully customizable, meaning you can search for specific things using the search bar, or even filter it out based on the tagged group that you are in. So if I was in the ICJ and I only wanted to see ICJ events, I could apply that tag and sort down to a smaller version of the schedule that just contains things for the ICJ. Clicking on any of the sessions listed in the schedule will take you to a detail page where you can, add this session to your personal schedule, bookmark it, make a note, and most importantly, click this blue button in the center that will launch the Zoom meeting that session is taking place in. This is the only way to get into a conference Zoom meeting, so make sure that you can find all of the events that you are scheduled for in the schedule, and that you are comfortable joining meetings that way. Some other helpful things in the sidebar are a MUN help form. If you have technical difficulties throughout the conference, clicking this MUN help form and providing a little bit of information about your issue is going to be the quickest way to get it resolved by a member of our team. By clicking the Delegates button in the sidebar, you can see a list of all the attendees of the conference broken down by school, country, and component. It is again fully searchable, and clicking on an attendee will take you to their page where anything that they've customized about their profile will be visible. And you can also make a note or send them a message or add a contact to your list in the app that is accessible from the top of the event guide sidebar. The event guide sidebar is also where you'll find your Model UN conference book. It will be continually updated throughout the conference, so if any amendments are made or anything like that, you can constantly check here for the latest version of the book. I highly recommend downloading a copy of it at the beginning of the conference to keep and refer to. It is indexed and searchable as well, so you should be able to navigate it fairly easily. If you're in the General Assembly, clicking the General Assembly button will allow you to engage in real-time resolution tracking. So this page right here has all of the resolutions that are going to be heard by Committee A, and it will be updated when they have been heard, and then later in the weekend when they have been passed or failed. You're also going to be able to find all kinds of supplemental info about all of the other components, so if you need to see a list of Secretariat members, or if you have questions about the Security Council docket, the sidebar is a great place to find that info as well. By clicking MUN info, you can read about the new additions to Model UN this year, as well as give to either the Plan Fiderino project or the MUN Scholarship Fund. MUN Officers and Elections is going to be your one-stop shop for everything related to this year's election. You'll be able to view the ballot, campaign videos, and op-eds. Social media will let you access all of the CCE's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook accounts. And the Tomfoolery Fundraising Committee button will give you all the information about the Tomfoolery social event that's being held on Saturday night, including instructions on how to submit your Tomfoolery resolution for consideration. Lastly, clicking Conference Merch takes you to the conference store, where a limited number of shirts, sweatshirts, and stickers are still available for this year. Finally, for those of you in the General Assembly, clicking the General Assembly and then First Committee button will show you a screen called the Committee Ranking Worksheet. Clicking on that lets you download an Excel file that you can use to keep track of your team's rankings for all of the resolutions that you hear in First Committee. At the end of First Committee, you're going to be asked to submit your totals for each resolution. And this worksheet is a great way to keep track of what you're thinking. So at the top, you can put the names of all the members of your country in here. You can put your country's name. And there's a drop-down menu letting you select which First Committee you are in. So if I'm in C, I click that. It auto-populates all my resolutions right here. A spot for which conference you are, just for your own records. You're going to be able to edit these 5 criteria, and the sheet will automatically tabulate your total for you. So you'll go through and give each of these 5 criteria a ranking from 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. So let's say we hear a great resolution and our rankings look like this. The system will automatically tabulate the total, that way you don't have to mess with it at all. You just have to worry about ranking these 5 spots each time. and you're going to want to hang on to those totals until the end of first committee when you will be asked to submit them. Only one person from each country team needs to submit your team's totals. I assume most of you are very familiar with the Zoom interface by now, so I just want to quickly highlight a couple of features that might be unique to our conference. First, it's highly suggested that you log into Zoom before the conference begins. We have sorted everybody into their committees based on the Zoom email that you provided when you registered for the conference. So logging in with that account is going to make it easy for us to sort you into the right place when committee sessions begin. Because we are asking everybody to work together to amplify the voices of your peers and not to be distractions, we're asking most people to keep themselves on mute unless they have been recognized. The mute and video controls can both be located on the bottom left of the Zoom window. Simply click the unmute button to unmute yourself, click it again to mute yourself. If you are successfully muted, you will see a red line through the microphone, as you can see now, and it will also appear next to your name in the participants sidebar. Likewise, you can start and stop your video using this control. You do not have to keep your video on for the entire conference if you can't, and definitely make sure to turn it off if you leave the room or anything like that. Clicking the participants button at the bottom of your Zoom interface is going to give you a list of everybody that's currently in your meeting. It's also going to give you the option to, by clicking the More button over here, rename yourself to make sure you are named according to conference convention. That is first, last, a dash, and then the country that you are representing. Clicking the participants button on the bottom also gives you option to engage with a variety of nonverbal feedback controls. The most notable for our conference is the raise hand function. Once you click raise hand, you should see a little hand icon next to your name in the participant sidebar. You'll also see a little blue hand in the corner of your window on the Zoom session. This indicates to our officers that you would like to speak either because you want to be called on for a technical question, need to weigh in for a con pro speech, or have a motion that you'd like to make. As long as your hand is raised, our officers are going to assume that you are seeking to be recognized. So if you ever, if your point gets addressed or anything like that, you can just hit the lower hand button again to take that away and let them know that you no longer need recognition. Additionally, if your officers ask you to engage in any other kinds of nonverbal feedback, like yes, no, those can be found on the participants sidebar as well. Occasionally, you'll be prompted to enter a breakout room because we've sorted you into smaller committees. To do that, you will have a breakout room button on the bottom of your screen next to where the reaction button is on my screen, and the system will prompt you to enter a breakout room as soon as you enter the meeting as well.
Hello, fellow delegates. I'm KYAN Ramsay, and I come here today to humbly ask for your vote as Vice President. As your VP, I plan to be a staunch defender of human rights across the globe. I think it's imperative that as a committee, we address egregious violations of human rights in cases like the NSARS movement in Nigeria, where human rights continue to be violated every day, and in tragedies like Breonna Taylor's death right here. I also think it's important that as a committee, we address the global pandemic that we're currently facing by supporting legislation that listens to science and as a result, keeps us all safe. Furthermore, as someone who is dedicated to serving my community, I would be able to bring my experiences from volunteering to be a servant leader for you all. I would humbly fulfill my duty to honorably serve my fellow delegates and uphold the YMCA Model UN core values. I hope I can count on a vote from you for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Hello, fellow delegates. My name is Alexandra TOULIATOS, and like all of you, I'm completely devastated that the annual Model UN dance will not be occurring this year. But alas, we must carry on despite this tragedy. I've been doing Model UN for quite a while, and for the past 2 years, my resolutions have addressed human and drug trafficking, arguably some of the most major issues that our world faces. Equally important, women's lack of education in developing countries is something that must be addressed. I also intend to examine the United States regulation of borders to attempt to better the US's international relations and grow the economy through trade. Deviating from policy issues, like I've mentioned, I've been doing Model UN since middle school. A few of you actually may recognize me from 2 years ago. I was part of a delegation that paid $70 in an auction to go out to dinner with some of the MUN leadership at the time, many of whom I think we all remember as absolute legends. The day after that dinner, my delegation and I actually wrote a select few of their names on our shoes. Model UN is a place to make memories, and I know for me, MUN has been a place where I can learn to use my voice and actually be heard, which in today's climate at our age can be very difficult. I'm so proud of all of you for the intellect and courage that all of you possess in order to participate in a program like this. Thank you for listening, and remember to vote Alexandra TOULIATOS for Vice President. Again, that's Alexandra TOULIATOS for Vice President.
My name is Jay. Yes, like the letter. I'm 16, I've been attending Model UN for 2 years, and I'm tired. Not in the sense that I didn't get quite enough sleep last night, even if that might usually be true, but in the sense that 2020 has thrown me a complete curveball, and I'm willing to bet 2020 has left you pretty tired too. I want you to take a moment, maybe close your eyes, because Lord knows we all need it, and then think. What are the things that are making you tired? Some may say the systematic racism in this country and the world at large. Some may say the fact that they're struggling to put food on the table because of a job loss. Maybe you're mentally ill and struggling with online school, or you're scared by how little time we have left to save the planet. Maybe quarantine has led you to realize something about your gender or sexuality that's left you feeling hidden. Medical bills are high and we're slowly turning to fascism, and you may just want to go in the woods and live in a treehouse like that one girl from TikTok so you don't have to deal with idiots who won't wear their masks. Now think. Was I tired before this year? Okay, you can open your eyes now. Same. Most of these problems seem to lead back to long-standing global and local injustices, whether they all affect you directly or affect someone you care about. It may seem like we can't do a lot as teenagers, but just by being here, we're planting the seeds for political involvement, raising awareness for issues of equality, discussing saving our dying planet, and collecting donations. We make our own small pushes every year towards hope so we can make big waves when we're older, and I want to be a larger part of that. So for a candidate who believes in representation, conservation, donation, action, and fostering a world that's a little less tired, vote J for VP.
Hello everyone, I hope everybody's doing alright and is staying safe. My name is Alex PIRVULESCU, and this is my 4th year in participating in the Model United Nations Conference. I enjoy debating about world problems, and I hope I can positively impact the future of our generation. If you vote for me as your General Assembly Vice President, I will represent the delegates, I'll be a trustworthy source of knowledge, I'll teach you how to think rather than what to think, and I will give you the best feedback to my knowledge. An issue that affects my community service interest is the pandemic virus, which is limiting my volunteering interactions. However, I can always donate old clothes, blankets, and non-perishable food items to homeless shelters. An issue that affects the U.S. foreign policy and international relations is the economic tariffs placed on China. This controversial argument will decline in imports from China and can lead to retaliation by other countries. An issue that affects the United Nations as a whole is the fact that the United States wants to withdraw from the UN, and consequently to get out of the World Health Organization due to the COVID-19 response. If you vote me for General Assembly Vice President, I will do as much as I can.
As we've all seen over the course of 2020, the world is a crazy place. In the beginning of February, none of us were thinking that the globe would shut down, but here we are now, participating in Model United Nations online. Now more than ever, it is vital that we have government leaders who represent the needs and interests of the people. My name is Emily WYKOFF, and I am running to be one of your General Assembly Vice Presidents. This is my 3rd year of experience doing Model UN. I have been a proud member of the General Assembly every year, and I've represented a wide range of countries on a number of global issues. I have fought against food waste, against exploitation in the global sex trade, and now for sinking cities to get the safeguards they need. In regards to my platform, first is the issue of fair and free elections. I have volunteered for several political campaigns and truly understand the necessities that are free speech and equal access to voting. If we wish to have global governments that represent their own citizens, every person must be able to speak freely and cast a ballot. Secondly, it is vital that we, as UN member states, equally share all research and progress in combating the COVID-19 virus. This is even more pressing, as both case numbers and the death toll continue to rise. Thirdly is the issue of violence against women. In order to live in a truly equal world, there should be easily accessible resources for those in danger and swift legal processes to continually protect them. To conclude, my name is Emily WYKOFF. I want more than anything to represent the General Assembly as a whole and continue the great embodiment of a fair and democratic gathering of nations. Remember to win with WYKOFF and vote Emily for GAVP.
Do you like coffee? My name is ELIZA ABSTON, and the first time I joined coffee was in the General Assembly last year. Like caffeine, world problems can keep us awake at night. As one of your next GA Vice Presidents, here are 3 issues I would work to solve: access to education, human trafficking, and disease eradication. There are 260 million children who do not have schools. Can you imagine never going to school? I volunteer with young children at my church, and I can see the impact education has in their lives. Next, the deplorable acts of human trafficking must stop. Millions of people around the world are affected by these crimes, and I know we are capable of forming the policies and organizations needed to end them. Lastly, there are many preventable diseases that continue to plague our populations. I am eager for the day that diseases like malaria are fully eradicated. Change starts here in the hub of the world's strongest advocates. When voting, please remember me, ELIZA ABSTON, for GA Vice President. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend at Model UN. Enjoy your coffee!
This past year has obviously been overwhelming for all of us, but the emotional, physical, and psychological trauma has been greater for some than others. In my city of Mount Juliet, Tennessee, my friends and I created a social justice organization called Mount Juliet Teens for Change that has helped us advocate on behalf of the people who have been the greatest impacted. My name is Abby Hill, and as your future General Assembly Vice President, I'd like to take that very same contagious passion of helping others and use it at Model UN. My work within our grassroots movement is this inspiration for the majority of my official Vice President platform. Often, our youngest and least experienced members fall through the cracks, and it's not uncommon to feel lost in the crowd, including when we do have the privilege of meeting face to face. My goal as General Assembly Vice President is to help new members feel welcomed, find their place, and be able to enjoy all the Model UN has to offer without the confusion it can bring. This program has truly helped me find my love for people and government, and I hope to guide others to find the same. I, Abby Hill, cannot wait to be your future General Assembly Vice President. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Sally GAITHER, and I'm running to be your next GA Vice President. As you all probably know, this year is going to be very different from past years, and we might have to face challenges like oxygen depletion, reactor meltdowns. I think you get the reference. But in all seriousness, we know that one thing is true. Our MUN conference is still happening. A place where students who have the initiative to go out and change the world, working together and having fun. I have that drive, that knowledge, and that leadership that would make a great GA Vice President. Specifically, I believe that working with younger kids and peers, giving them the resources and opportunities that they need, we can help our community enormously. Education can also translate onto a multinational scale, making sure that every child has access to a full learning experience. The US can help by setting an example and encouraging other countries. On an international scale, I want to again stress the importance of the youth and the severe lack of youth representation. New policies can create the voice that our upcoming generations need to implement meaningful change and diverse viewpoints globally. This is my second year attending MUN, and I am more than ready to serve as your GA Vice President. I am committed to this organization and prepared to put in the time and effort. So don't vote me out, because I can promise you that I am not the imposter, but a crewmate working with each and every one of you to create change and save the spaceship. Vote Sally G for VP.
Hi, my name is Nathan Solomon, and I'm running to be your next Model UN Vice President. MUN has always been a place of community for me. My first year at MUN, after having a heated debate between rivals, we all went out to eat at the Chili's nearby. I ended up talking about how good those fish were for days, and even today, sitting at home behind my computer, I wish that I could taste and smell those spiced fish again while sitting around a table and getting to know people from other schools. That is a concept that MUN has introduced me to. Community. While we cannot be in person, I will strive to make sure that we all feel that same connection, from my camera to yours. On a larger scale, MUN has allowed me to understand how the actions of just one country can affect billions around the globe. As your MUN Vice President, I will strive to make sure that all communities have access to potable drinking water, a human right. While ocean pollution continues to increase, we must put human lives before interest in oil. Today, climate change is our generation's issue. We need to find efficient ways to produce renewable energy. Now back to those fish. I remember the tang of the oregano and the hint of the peppers. It was delicious. Just like those fish, I want to make our time at MUN spicy, filled with new experiences. My name is Nathan Solomon, so at the ballot box, remember to vote Solomon for VP so that he can help you to succeed. Thank you.
Hello, my name is PARTH MISHRA, and I'm running to be one of your vice presidents. I would like to start off by reminding you of the world we live in. It is ever-changing and constantly growing with extraordinary potential to form fruits of development, modernization, and advancement. Yet humanity struggles to get hold of the benefits these fruits have to offer, and hence many societies fall behind others. I believe it is our job to help these societies progress for the betterment of all of us. In fact, as a servant leader, I seek to improve my own society. I go to schools to help tutor those in need in order to make a difference in the community that nurtures me. Foreign policy issues are also of paramount importance to me, especially human rights. As if human rights was not a pressing issue before, the COVID-19 pandemic has only worsened the situation in many countries with the inhumane management of the virus causing a wound in international relations. Finally, I support global issues such as combating climate change by the means of green energy sources in order to secure the future of generations to come. As a vice president, I plan to bring together the YMCA MUN community in order to combat these issues and other pressing issues. Use my experience to be a servant leader to you and enforce the YMCA core values. And, of course, all while creating an enjoyable and informative time. So now I ask you to give me a chance to serve you so we can serve the world. Thank you.
Hello, fellow delegates. My name is APEKSHA SAWARKAR, and I'm a junior at Hume-Fogg High School, and I hope to be one of your 6 Model UN Vice Presidents next year. I hope that what I have to say resonates with you and that I can earn your vote. When I was in elementary school, most like others at that age, I would be excited to attend. It was a place where I could be granted a quality education, and that privilege is taken for granted every day. In fact, there were 60 million children that were not enrolled in primary school across the globe in 2014. This number has been greatly exacerbated by the COVID-19, causing it to reach an astronomical number of 407 million children. The next generation deserves to have the same quality education as we did, and especially during their formative years as young, impressionable children. This is why, as one of your Model UN Vice Presidents next year, I will focus on making education accessible to every child around the world. By highlighting the educational disparities occurring right now, this delegation can work towards global solutions. Closer to home, the United States has greatly improved the high school graduation rate in recent years. This increase can be attributed to many different things, but I truly believe that the initiatives taken on a state-by-state level by local governments is truly admirable. However, this is a step in the right direction, but as with all things, there's room for improvement, specifically in major cities. In Nashville, for instance, we must make efforts to improve the quality of education of public schools in low-income areas. There is no reason why a student should feel as if they are at a disadvantage solely based on their zip code. Every student deserves to have access to the same resources and opportunities as their peers, and zoning should not hinder that ability to do so.
everyone, my name is ANGELIE QUIMBO and I'm running to be one of your 2021 MUN General Assembly Vice Presidents. Though this year has been all over the place, I'm optimistic that this year's conference can save 2020. Nevertheless, I hope all of you are well and safe. Now a bit about my platform. Looking at my community, I see inequality of all kinds. Gender and income inequality, even LGBTQ+ discrimination and racial injustice. Despite negativity, equality will always hold significance. Productivity is hindered when people cannot move past the natural differences of those around them. Likewise, I believe U.S. productivity is hindered by xenophobia. The U.S. emphasizes on equality, but actions don't always reflect that. Xenophobia, as of late, has sparked fear and anger in situations where blame should not be shifted to another group of people. As a result, U.S. foreign relations have been strained. On a global scale, I believe that climate change should take precedent. Climate change is real, and we have limited time, a little over 70 years until our actions are irreversible. I know as high schoolers, it's easy for us to put off things until tomorrow. We're all guilty of procrastinating, but issues like this need to be addressed by us, while we still have the option to put it off until tomorrow. Though this year's conference is through Zoom, I hope to still have the opportunity to speak with you. Quest for a bright future because QUIMBO won't quit. I hope to win your vote, and I hope you have a great MUN weekend.
Hi, my name is Greta Lee, and I'm running for Secretary General. And as a current GAVP and someone who's done MUN for 5 years, I'd love to be Sec Gen to set an innovative agenda for the next conference and give back to the community. So here's just a few issues I'm passionate about. First, because my local interests include the bail fund and tutoring. A major issue is with global inequality, namely racial, ethnic, economic, gender, through unfair lack of access to opportunities. And those divisions have only widened during COVID, and more needs to be done to close that gap. Secondly, an issue that affects international relations is genocide, which has happened even after the global proclamation of never again, and it's occurring now. And countries should not ignore genocides for the sake of trade deals or alliances, and they need to start holding each other accountable. Third, an issue that affects us globally has to do with health, mainly pandemics. Who could have thought? We're caught in the cycle with SARS, MERS, Zika, Ebola, where countries panic and then they just don't prepare for the next one. So countries need to start making those preventative measures and also setting those standards. So as a GAVP now, I will have experience next year in being a MUN officer, and I promise I will do my very best to make your MUN experience fantastic if I'm voted. I see some of you in committee while I'm chairing, and I know we'll have a great time. I know it sucks that we're on Zoom and that we're not walking to the restaurants in the cold, we're doing joke motions, but it's really appreciated that you're here. And so thanks for listening. I hope you vote for me, and just remember, generally vote Greta Lee. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Garner Cherry, and I am running to be your 2021 Secretary General. A couple of things to know about me are that I have my own small business working with birds who I adore, and that I'm a founding member of a youth activism group. Now, before I get to my platform, my vision for next year's conference, I just want to say to all of you that I'm proud of you, and I appreciate you to no ends. I know this year has been rough for all of us. The future being uncertain, and us seemingly holding no power to change it is incredibly scary. What we've been through and continue to go through is scary, but you still came to this conference because it's what you love, and it's what I love. And I would be honored if you would allow me to be part of dictating the unprecedented and unclear future of next year's conference. But I digress to my platform. I see human rights and their violations as a major issue facing the world right now, and they are a top priority I wish to address. The atrocities being committed in places such as China, Armenia, and many other places across the globe need to be prevented, and those people affected deserve the opportunity to have their lives back. The affirmation of people's rights, regardless of gender, sexual orientation, religion, or race, need to be consistent across the world. People need to be further educated on the rest of the world's current state in order to help prevent acts such as these, and so that different majorities will not continue to act out of hate or ignorance. I will bring that attitude of acceptance and inclusivity to this conference as well. Having participated in both the Tomfoolery Committee and dances alike, I think working to make these spaces more inclusive is a necessity. It's no secret that sometimes the noise and behavior of delegates gets out of hand, which is why I would make it one of my top priorities to make sure that everyone feels comfortable in these events. In addition, this is why I want to further encourage networking between delegates by offering more diverse opportunities of interaction in more relaxed environments during every evening activity time so that more are satisfied with the overall experience. Thank you so much for your time, and please vote Garner Cherry for Secretary General. Have a great conference.